in each of these units, you can see what's the floor of each little cell actually has holes in it for the water to pass through. And ultimately also the roots. Because when you're growing the plants, you're going to want them to be able to develop a nice healthy root system, and you don't want to confine them to just that little cell. So for any of you who have gardened or have gardened with your parents, have they mixed things into the soil to kind of lighten up the soil a little bit? And then inside, for drainage, they put tiny little stones, which is, you'll see in cheap artificial mix, you'll see this stone is actually styrofoam, okay? And you can tell a really cheap mix because they use styrofoam and it kind of does the same thing. Who knows what worms do for the soil? Anybody got a guess? You see them in the soil all the time. When it rains, you see them come out on the driveway. Good soil has a lot of worms in it.
You guys think worms, bacteria, fungus, they all belong?
Have you ever thought about what worms are actually doing in the soil besides just living there and coming out and stinking after a rain?
Remember we talked about this way back in the fall?
So what was it? Helping the organic material decompose? Exactly. That's a perfect answer. A worm is basically nothing more than a digestive tract. All right? He eats on one end, it passes through, and he poops out the other end. All right? And in between times, he gets together with one of his other worm friends, and they make more worms. But that's health. So we won't go into what we call worm power, which is an organic fertilizer. That won't sprinkle it.
He'll eat it.
You would? You'd eat it? There are people who eat it, actually. But they can taste. You can taste it. I mean, it's really it's very very healthy, sterile, no pathogens. Then we're gonna have to add water and get it up to a certain moisture level. All right. Then once we have the moisture, we have these bins full of nice moist soil. Each team is going to fill 3 of these. All right, and we'll go over the technique for doing that once you get the soil made up the right way. And then it'll be planting the seeds. All right, so that's going to be the 3 steps. And then the 4th thing is hanging the bins back on the rack. So that's.
We don't think of course that happens.
Burying my hands.
How we doing?
That's pretty good. Wait this back.
And you guys are going to have to, don't just do it on the top, okay? Make sure you turn it all the way in towards the bottom.
It's like a machine.
Now what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to add quite a bit of water here.
I did.
And it's not going to feel like there's much water to start with.
That has to be the most weirdest part. Who just moved it?
I did.
All right, here's some more for you guys.
So cold.
Now, I'm treating you a lot better than you're getting treated.
We're gonna like took my
Entire like.
Not too much water now, but I'll tell you what happens. Look what happens. That's exactly what you'd want to see in any soil that you were working with. You make take a fistful of it and squeeze it as hard as you can. And then when you open it up, it shouldn't completely fall apart, but it cracks open like that, and that's perfect. That's exactly what you want to see. So what the 3 people can do, if you guys, when you have 2 people in the team loading and 1 person smoothing, all right, get it built up all the way past the top of this, and then the 3rd person will just smooth it around. So once you get it like that, get it down about that far. Because what we're going to do, once you get all these cells pushed down like that, oh, not as hard as you can, buddy, you're doing it way too hard.
Sorry.
It's all right. Plus those aren't full enough yet. Don't get it any deeper than that, any deeper than that. And then we'll start, once you've got all these filled, we'll start pushing more soil back in, and we'll do this tamping one more time. We had our I think both teams came out even in terms of skill level and what they accomplished with filling the trays. Now the next thing is to plant them. And it's far easier to plant them when they're on the tables than it would be, somebody was asking me, are we going to stick them right on the rack? This way, we'll plant them down at waist height and be able to do a much better job. All right? Now, we've got 6, obviously you guys know we've got 6 different trays. What I thought we would do is plant 6 different types of vegetables and greens. We have here cucumbers, pickling cucumbers actually. All right. We have beans. We have chives, which is like a green onion. We have lettuce. We have radishes. We have carrots.
Why didn't you pick like green bell peppers?
Well, yeah, that's an excellent question. Did everybody hear what that question was? Why didn't we pick green bell peppers? One thing about peppers is they require some pretty warm soil temperatures to germinate, and they take a while before all of these things here will produce vegetables for you to eat before school ends. Radishes and carrots is the perfect things to go on top. And then we can put the chives and the lettuce, which is sort of a middle bushy growth, in the middle. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. Now, if you use your finger, one of the things that happens with your finger is you stick it into this soil, and even though you did a nice job packing it down, it's still kind of loose, and when you pull it back up, you just make a mess, and the soil breaks apart. This is a dibble stick, all right? And you use it like a drill, all right? When you put it in, you twist it in, and you twist it back out. And when you do that, you don't yank out all the soil that you just packed in there. What if you only planted one seed there and it didn't germinate? You'd be wasting that space, wouldn't you? So what we'll do is we'll double plant. We'll put 2 seeds in each hole for the cucumbers and for the beans, right? What that means is sometimes you're going to get 2 plants coming out of that hole. And it's going to be somebody's job to decide which one of those 2 plants that sprouts is the strongest and pinch off the other one. All right? Right, 2 holes for the beans and the cucumbers, just lines for the radishes and the carrots. Okay? And what you'll then do, whoever's doing the seeding, is take a pinch of the seed in your fingers and go down the row, dropping the seeds in 1 or 2 at a time. Team radish. Oh, you guys want to do carrots?
Yeah, we do.
Perfect. Who's radish? Radish? Now I need lettuce. Team lettuce.
Lettuce.
I'll wait till you. Wait, why?
Yes.
Oh, I feel like a solar tea every time you're near.
That's what I
And I just wanted to talk about how we're going to load this. The way this cart is designed, you've got to put the trays on from the bottom up. Okay, so we've already got who's team cucumber and team bean. All right, so you guys are the ones that mounted the trays, right? Nicely done. Good job. Everything's nicely labeled. So now what we're doing, what's going in the middle? Our teams have grown in the middle. Be sure. How do you think the watering system is going to work here? It's not obvious. I mean, do you think some people think that the water is going to it's going to be most moist up here and driest down here, and some people think the water is going to run all the way through very quickly and this is going to be the most moist conditions, and this is going to be the driest. Now, who thinks this is going to be dry and this is going to be wet? Who thinks this is going to be wet and this is going to be dry? All right, and who's undecided? About most of you. All right. Well, you know what? You're all right.